Sometimes we have to get to the place where we have no way out, or we are feeling or perceiving that our back is up against the wall and that we are in the depths of depths. And for me personally, that was my big aha moment. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. And I am going to move forward, and I'm going to start making life work for me, not against me. And when I made that decision, life worked for me. It was like some magical twist. I had to really, for me personally, had to release all my old beliefs of who I thought I was in order to walk into something new. Hi, my name is Kristen, and this is my friend and colleague, Kim Jacob. She's a physical therapist and a cranial sacral therapist. So we're going to banter back and forth on a concept about perspective in life. I'm going to read a quote, and then we'll just talk about it. So here's the quote. Life is meaningless. There is no built-in meaning. The gift you have is to give meaning to something. The meaning you give determines the effect it has on you. Every situation has a dual meaning. So that's the quote. And so we're going to talk about, Kim, what are you thinking about life has no meaning? And
it's kind of a really great thing. It's like you have a blank slate and you have a choice. We all have a choice. We are presented with things all the time. And our perspective and how we look at something is like 90% of what's going to happen. So the duality is there all the time, and we just have to choose which way are we going to go. It's kind of like manifesting something or positive thinking about it. It's the same thing. We make a choice.
So we get to determine.
What do you think about that?
To determine the outcome. So I at first when I heard life is meaningless, well, that made me feel like, how does that make me feel that everything that I've created is meaningless? But then when I read on with the quote that the gift we have is to give meaning, then I thought, well, then it is a gift. Life is a gift. And so if life is a gift and it comes in a blank slate, then to me, I have a choice. I have a choice to look at life either as a victim or victorious, as something that is working for me or against me, because life is a gift. And it comes as a gift with no meaning, nothing attached to it. We build in our belief system of what's right or wrong, or good or bad. And so how I look at this is that every situation, I can take the courage to flip it around and look at life from a different perspective in order to give me the meaning and the outcome of peace. So what are some thoughts that you have?
Honestly, that is our choice. We have that choice. But if you are not feeling great about life, it's hard to do that. And I think sometimes we have to get so deep down that we either keep going or we say, hey, there's something else. And we need support. We can't all do this by ourselves. And support comes in many forms that we need to take. But the circumstances that present themselves in our lives, we can turn that around. We can say, okay, something terrible just happened. What is the good side of that? Because we were talking about earlier that in all these challenges in our life, there's a gift in all of it. And we just have to look for that shiny red bow on the gift,
right,
and go toward that, because we have that choice.
Right.
And we are not just our physical body, we are spirit. And go lean toward that healing modality if you're in a spot where you can't make a choice by yourself, right, or a physical healing that will bring that spiritual healing to you, because that's really, to me, that's what it's about. That will come out through our bodies.
The choice to make a better decision will come out through healing. Is that
through healing? And I think it's like a spiritual almost awakening to me. But we get there with support of possibly a counselor or a body worker. We have to get there. It's not like, I don't feel like healing is traditional, that you go to this person for that person for that anymore. I think this wholeness of us being a whole being and wanting to heal in a whole way, is not just our physical body or not just our mind.
Right, right.
So there's so much more to it. But it's easy for us to say, oh, it's, just pick the right path or find the gift in your sadness. But, how do you get there? That's what people want to know.
Right. So that's a good point. How do you get there? I think you tapped into that a little earlier when you said sometimes we have to get to the place where we have no way out, or we are feeling or perceiving that our back is up against the wall and that we are in the depths of depths. And for me personally, that was my big aha moment. Like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. And I am going to move forward, and I'm going to start making life work for me, not against me. And when I made that decision, life worked for me. It was like some magical twist. But I had to get to the place where I gave up on all of the stories I was telling myself. I had to really, for me personally, had to release all my old beliefs of who I thought I was in order to walk into something new. And so for me, now I read this quote and I go, gosh, that's pretty cool, because we do have a choice. But back then I would have been like, no, I'm not having a choice. Like, this is happening to me and this is happening to me. And I felt a victim. And so I think you're right. By getting some healing, by getting some body work or some counseling, can we rise up enough to say, and to look at it from a new perspective and say, life is a school and we are here to learn, and life is working for you, not against you. And even though you don't see it, and even though it's not knocking at your door, like, hey, you're going to learn this in 5 or 10 years. That's faith. You walk in faith that life is working for you. And so if we're giving meaning to everything, then that's pretty cool, because we can actually turn everything around for our good.
And that is our choice. And that's what is, I think, the main thing here. We do have that choice. But same with me, getting so down that it was the end, you didn't know your back's against the wall and you don't know what to do. I think, I don't know how to tell someone besides, I personally had support of Kristen on her table that helped me, and it just got me started. And it maybe took a little while for me, but I can tell you, I came out of that, and I was not a victim anymore. But I was in a victimhood. We all kind of get there, definitely.
So when I feel like I can look at life like a school, like I signed up for this. So for me, this perspective switch, this meaning that I give it to now is, if I were to sign up for, I want to be a doctor. And in order to be a doctor, I know I'm going to have to go through some pretty steep courses. Okay. And I know that I'm going to feel frustrated and I'm going to feel like, these are hard courses, but the end result is I want to be a doctor. And so you sign up and you get help. You get help from, your counselors at school, and you get help from studying together, right? To pass a test. And each time you pass something, you go, aha, I am getting stronger. And then that gives you courage for your next test. And pretty soon, one after other, you've got your doctorate. Well, I look at life just like that now. And I look at it like, if my instructor, if God, if the divine always gave me the answers to everything, I would not be that accomplished doctor at the end. I would not be as wise of a person at the end of my journey. And so I look at like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to walk through it, because this is part of my experience of coming here to earth to learn my soul's growth. So I can say that now, but back when I was in the really depths of my soul, I didn't know how to get out. And so it did take, I went to Kim for cranial sacral. I had a good counselor, and then I also went to body work, and also I went to Reiki. So I was getting a lot of really great help to get me to the place where I could stand on my own. And then I started to get that power. It's like I passed that course, right? And that next course, like, bring it on. And now I hope I stay strong. But if I ever do go down, right? If there's something that knocks me down, and we have this in life, this is why we signed up, then I know the tools. I know who to go to help me get that perspective again. So I'm soaring again. Again, life is like school. So that's how I
love that analogy. That's so great.
Yeah.
So wonderful. If we didn't have these difficult times, then we wouldn't know the joy, the rainbow in the storm.
No.
You have to have the storm in order to see the rainbow. I think that's
Contrast.
what this school is about that we're living right now.
Right.
And man, it's sometimes just really hard, and we get that. We get that. It's really difficult, but we can make a choice. You cannot always do it yourself. And that's the biggest thing I want to say is that we really need support from each other, from our communities that we're in, from just trying to take care of our own body, spending some time in nature, doing all these things will really help us. But isn't it kind of exciting in a way to know that we have a choice?
Yes.
And that's huge if that's
right.
the only message out there.
That we get to choose.
We get to choose.
We get to choose the meaning of everything. And it either work for us or against us. And again, we're talking from not only our own experience, but all the experience we've seen with our clients as well. And when people take the power back, that they have the power to move forward through their choices and how they look at things and how, like that quote said, how we give meaning, then it's all of a sudden you're back in the driver's seat. And it's okay if sometimes you get in the driver's seat and then all of a sudden you find you're in the back seat again. That's okay. Because then it's a school, right? How many times have we taken tests and they're like, oh, I failed that test. Did you really fail it, or did you just need to learn more? It's how do you want to look at it? Like, yeah. So it's kind of a fun perspective to look at life.
And it's true.
So any final
just I would encourage people to get the support that they need. And Kristen and I both do this work in different ways. And I think it's important to talk to, if you're going to get help, talk to the people and see what they're like. And I wouldn't just blindly go to people.
Right. Get references.
Know that person. But, we can all heal.
We're with you. And so is Emmy Lou. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.